What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to For Strategy Gaming, game number 2 here between Jinro and SaSe. We are this time on Antigua Shipyard. Jinro spawning the upper left-hand spawn location as our red Terran player. Down over here in the lower right-hand position, we've got SaSe as the blue Protoss. This is game 2 in the series between these two players. SaSe winning last game, honestly, quite easily. That was pretty ridiculous. He pushed out with just a 3-gate push. That wasn't even a 4-gate, and he was able to just roll over Jinro. The problem was Jinro coming out with a 1-1-1 opener, going for fast cloak Banshee, was just not prepared. And as you can see, they're actually making note of it again. I do have to assume that lag played a role in there somewhere, as Jinro wasn't able to properly micro. I did notice that the Banshee that popped in defense of his main base got dropped immediately. That is something that probably shouldn't have happened. And I questioned it when it happened, because a Banshee pops with enough energy to cloak. He should have been able to cloak right away and got at least a little bit of kills off there on SaSe's attacking force, but he didn't. He just dropped immediately, and I'm assuming that that had something to do with it. But essentially, we saw a very standard 3-gate expand from SaSe with some 3-gate aggression. And then he followed that up with a robo. His Nexus was already building, and with that robotics coming out immediately with the Observer and a couple Stalkers, he was easily able to defend Jinro's counterattack with a single Banshee. Jinro lost his Banshee at home in defense, and then that was it. I mean, SaSe quite easily at that point was able to roll over Jinro, and there you go. So again, I'm assuming lag had something to do with it. But anyways, that's enough of that. We can see actually Jinro forcing that full wall off there by building that second supply depot very early. Still no gas right now. We will be seeing a 1-Rax expand here from Jinro. And the whole reason he's getting that supply depot early is just to deny that scouting. He doesn't want SaSe inside of his main base. He does not want SaSe to see the fact that he has got no refineries, because that is a dead giveaway to a 1-Rax expand being the opening build. So SaSe, of course, now forced to pull back to his main base. We do have Jinro moving inside of the main base of SaSe. We can see only one assimilator up. Ooh, only 2 guys on that assimilator here for SaSe. Only 2 guys gathering. This is information that Jinro can see so long as he's paying attention. And what does this tell us? What is this a tip-off to? A 1-gate expand. I mean, that's pretty clear as well. You know, you still need some gas, of course, so that you can get warp gate research, but by not being fully saturated on that assimilator, that gives you 1 extra probe mining minerals and lets you get out this Nexus a little bit earlier, and at the same time have enough Vespene to be able to come out with that warp gate research as well as that early game Stalker. So there you go. SaSe now finally fully saturating now that he has dropped down that Nexus. Should be working up probably 2 more gateways and a robotics at some point, in whatever order. He could go robo first, he could get those 2 additional gateways first. It's really up to him as to what he wants to do, but that's what I'm expecting, 2 more gateways and a robo from him. Back over here inside of the main base of Jinro, 2 more racks coming up, that expansion coming on through as expected. A couple of Marines will be protecting the front. We do probably want a bunker from him, just because early Stalker aggression could be a little bit dangerous to those Marines, especially in such small numbers. Those Marines by themselves early in the game have a very difficult time against Stalkers. Now, it does require some micro to actually stand much of any of a chance. But still, SaSe could, at the very least, soften up a few of those Marines. And there we go, we can see that bunker coming down, but that's going to be a little bit late, because here SaSe is moving forward with just a little bit of micro. The biggest thing, 2 things here for the Stalker: range advantage. Ooh, look at that cute little automaton. Anyways, 2 things for the 2 things for the Stalker there. He has got a range advantage and a speed advantage early on. So without stim pack and without that bunker, it allows them to just micro all around those Marines and do a whole lot of damage. And here you go, we'll be getting off a couple more shots, softening up those Marines, may even try to go for some kills, and all they need to do really is just pull back when their shields get weakened up, and that is it. But still, look at all the damage that was done. All those Marines are injured, and it's not until later in the game, once medevacs finally come into play, that Jinro is actually going to be able to get the health back on that. So if we see any engagements before then, all those Marines have already been dealt some damage. All right, so 1 more gateway did come out, as well as that robotics, and I'm actually surprised that he is still just on 2 gateways. He could be going very quick for Colossus, and that may explain his lack of a 3rd gateway. Jinro complaining about more lag. I thought that was another word. I was like, Jinro, that is not very nice of you. So yes, it could very well be the case that we might be seeing quite possibly some Colossus in play, and that's why he's only getting 2 gateways. He feels like he can't afford them, but never mind. There we go. Finally seeing a third come out. That's still not taken away from the possibility of him coming out with that early Colossus, however. And back over here, Jinro does appear to be coming out with a quick third expansion. You can see that is in production right now. We'd also have a Warp Prism coming out for SaSe. SaSe will be doing a little bit of a Warp in Harass and canceling that. So never mind, actually changed his mind, decided that he does not want to do any Zealot bombing. That would have been very much like a White Raw style of play, very popular opening there from him, able to do some Zealot bombing and harassing of that main resource line. Oh, those special tactics, how awesome they are. Instead, deciding to come out with that Observer and just get some scouting information. He's happy with that. Maybe concerned about the same style of play that we saw last game from Jinro and that quick Cloaked Banshee. He does want to make sure he's got that cloak detection nice and early on. Main base of Jinro, still seeing, well, just Arax over here, and that is it. No factory changes in transition yet. He's coming out with that stim pack, sticking pretty much marine heavy, and there we go, finally coming out with that Warp Prism at the same time. We do also have a robotics coming out, as well as a forge. Now, engineering bay is up right now. It's going to allow some turrets to come into play for Jinro. We are seeing, again, that forge. Hopefully we see some marine upgrades. But yeah, just sticking just marines. Missile turret there at the front base. That allows him to see any possible DT. But more likely is, of course, observers hitting the front of that natural expansion that may allow him to quickly snipe it out of the sky, if SaSe is not paying 100% attention to his observer. However, it looks like he may be doing that very thing. He knows what he's up against. So pulling up inside of the main and just getting his scouting intel back over there. We have got a bunch of sentries. We'll be going to the back of the main base of Jinro. And then SaSe also sitting over here with a couple of forces. One marine scouting out these back rocks. He wants to make sure nothing's going on over there. And there it goes, being dropped inside the main, forcing a bunch of mining downtime as all those SCVs are pulled there from the line, and just a little more harass, dropping down that Guardian shield. And he is lifting up, but I do not know why. I think that had he warped in a bunch of Zealots, he would have just torn that to shreds. I am really perplexed as to why he didn't just warp in some Zealots there. I mean, that was not a very hefty force that he was up against. He could have done a ton of damage, but anyways, lifting off those sentries, pulling it back instead, and moving down to drop his third. One Marine delaying that a little bit. Look at Jinro being super aggressive, pulling a Marine very early on into SaSe's third just to delay that Nexus. He ends up losing that, of course, but still a little bit of a delay. Better than nothing. We do have a scouting SCV checking for a possible hidden expansion over here, but no, again, the third for SaSe will be coming out in that direction. Third now up for Jinro. He is actually working to saturate that natural expansion before he lands that. We do finally have the starport in play, so Jinro will be coming out now with those double medevacs, and I do wonder oh so much where that Warp Prism went. Where is that Warp Prism? It is still alive. It is not harassing, however. It's not doing much of anything. I don't know where it is. Wish I could just like auto spot the Warp Prism. Can I double click on this? Why don't you let me do that? Please fix that, Blizzard. Allow me to double click on that to automatically find the unit. That'd be awesome. Anyways, that's enough rambling. There's a Warp Prism chilling around somewhere. There it is, Warp Prism. Just the one. Now sitting with a Zealot, making its way back now towards the backside of the main base there for Jinro. We can see the little bit of a rally point going on, and he will actually be walking by one Marine. Jinro will be fully aware. Oh, look at that, just pulling it to the left just in time. But I don't really know, because there's a lot of bio there inside of the main, so I don't think this is going to do much damage at all. Just moving forward with one Zealot and then lifting off and pulling back. SaSe, WTF, mate, what are you doing? I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly. Concerned about some harass here, either drop harass and or cloak banshee harass. He's got some protection there at his natural and his third and his main. SaSe there spreading out his forces just to be prepared. We do have a force coming across the middle right now. Now the Zealot did have control of that tower, so he should be aware of that. And some stim Marines dropping. Oh no, the Warp Prism making it out just in time. Nice Marine split there by Jinro. Ends up losing two Marines. May end up losing a third, and yes, he does. He's losing a third. We've got a bunch of bio over here. Two Vikings moving in that direction, trying to be able to drop that Warp Prism. I think that Warp Prism, oh no, he didn't make it back home, as the Marine over here for Jinro ends up landing the kill on that Warp Prism. Very nice. Two Vikings moving across the map, attempting to scout some more. I think he might have spotted that observer. Are we going to see that scan, or is he just pulling all the way back? Vikings just kind of chilling out there momentarily. Bio still in the middle. This is something that SaSe is fully aware of, and he's mobilizing right now. Gateway heavy mix there with a bunch of Colossus. 3 Colossus in play. He's almost finished that charge upgrade. Level 2 weapons upgrade coming out as well. Also getting those Templar archives. Jinro with a very light force in the center of the map. Doesn't have enough to contend with what SaSe is pushing across with, and those Vikings quickly get pulled out of the sky. We've got 2 ghosts coming in play over here. Ooh, this is very important as well. Jinro dropping over inside of the main. Couple stalkers softening up that one medevac. However, this bio stimming up is going to be able to do a lot of damage, and it does look like he is going to be able to take out that robotics facility, and that is huge because that is going to delay the production of future Colossus tremendously. He's going to be sniping down that one Colossus and then lifting off. He only lost half a medevac's worth of bio and managed to pull away in time, dropping a Colossus plus that robotics. That is absolutely huge. Lots of damage there from Jinro. Fantastic play. That was a very effective drop indeed. I'm trying to keep an eye on the minimap. I do want to see if any additional drops, Warp Prism or medevac drops, do happen to take place. Taking a look at the resources lost, as we can see, SaSe is a little bit behind right now. Now we do have Jinro moving into his 3rd and actually preparing as well to be able to move into a 4th. However, SaSe is continuing to mobilize and mount up his forces off of the only 3 bases that he has. We have to keep in mind as well that we saw those Templar archives coming into play. Is rebuilding. He is rebuilding right now, that robotics facility. There we go. Templar archives is in play. No storm research coming out. He will just be getting Archons instead. So Gateway heavy. Whoa, where'd my camera go? Gateway heavy, couple Colossus and some Archons. This is a very, very strong force. On the opposite side, we will be seeing bio heavy, Vikings, medevacs, and some ghosts. Pretty standard play here for TVP. Nothing too unorthodox, nothing too crazy, wild, and or zany. Those 2 medevacs still chilling out over here. We'll be waiting to see when and if they do land again to do some damage. And again, center of the map control right now, going to SaSe. Full scan going down there by Jinro, spotting the entirety of SaSe's army. At least he knows what he's up against, but I don't know if that's going to make him any more prepared. This is a very strong and robust force. Level 2 armor upgrade almost finished. Level 3 weapons coming out. Let's take a look at the upgrades over here. He's just 1-1 right now and just coming out with level 2 weapons. He is pretty far behind in terms of upgrades, and that is really concerning for that first major engagement. Upgrades can really make a difference. Back over here, Jinro moving out with a factory scout. He'll actually be landing that in the 3rd. At the same time, again, mobilizing his forces. Couple hallucinated units, and here we go. Moving forward, Charge Zealots leading the way. Bio stimming up immediately. Vikings trying to snipe down this Colossus. They are targeting some hallucinated units. Some huge EMPs go down on the entire force of SaSe. SaSe taking actually a lot of damage from those EMPs. Now he is going to try to continue to work his way through those bio. The Vikings able to snipe down all of those Colossus, but some Charge Zealots pushing up there with those Stalkers, and SaSe is able to push onto that 3rd at the same time. Drop going down in the main, managed to force SaSe to pull all of the guys off of the resource line there. But I'm concerned right now because it does look like Jinro will be losing this expansion. He's got nothing he can do to defend that. Some units getting warped in to try to help defend over here. Saw feedback there in the medevac. That is very low. However, it is not down for the count. Still taking out this expansion, slowly whittling it down, and there you go. Jinro loses his 3rd, taking some damage there to that other Expo. Bio still in the main over here for SaSe and still doing a bit of damage. Couple more Charge Zealots moving in. We've got a lot of High Templar over here as well. Some more feedback going down, however, without much energy. That medevac actually not taking much damage. There we go. That medevac gets taken out. This bio will eventually get taken up. I don't really think it's going to do that much damage. And even with all the damage that Jinro has done from this drop, the fact that he lost that expansion is just awful. And we will have actually SaSe attempting to push onto the natural. This drop still doing more and more damage. Now target firing down production buildings. We've got this drop going down over here. Lots of SCVs trying to pull down as well. Archon gets taken out. Stalkers forced to blink back right now. We've got an Expo sitting there in the center of the map. The bio still doing damage. What is he targeting now? Will be going down for that Cybernex core. Those Zealots should be able to mop up the rest of this though. And actually moving down with some workers. And there you go. The drop finally gets taken care of. SaSe's forces were pushed back. It seems like it may be even, but really, in all honesty, I would say SaSe is a little bit ahead, given the fact that he dropped that expansion. That is huge. Income-wise, we can take a look over here. Jinro is really starting to suffer in terms of the amount of gas that he is mining. He's got this expansion up over here, and he's muling as much as he can. But we've got a pretty decent saturated, although dwindling Expo over here, and a pretty solidly saturated base as well. I would really like to see SaSe push out for his 4th. I think that's going to be a smart idea. I don't know if he knows about Jinro's expansion over here. Really not sure. No more Colossus coming into play. We'll just be sticking with Charge Zealot and Archon as that main composition. Would also like to see some High Templar thrown into the mix just as is to lay some Storms. However, as we can see, that Storm research isn't even in play, so he will just be relying on those Archons. But, you know, it's so scary. Even with this expansion over here, I'm still not sure about Jinro's position because he doesn't really have this very saturated at all. He's trying to come out with some SCVs, and yes, he's got some muling going down, but it's not much. It really is not much at all. You want to take another look at that income tab, and there you go. Slowly but surely, SaSe is creeping further and further ahead. I mean, he's got a pretty solid contain right now on Jinro. Jinro's in a tough spot, and I don't think he's going to be able to push out anytime in the immediate future. He's trying to continue to mount up his forces. He does have 5 Ghosts just about to pop, and that's going to help him tremendously. We're having more and more units warped in. Still, SaSe not looking to take a 4th. I don't know what he's thinking. Here we go, finally moving down, and I hope that he... Oh, no, that's just some scouting. He's not even planning to take that, and that's scouting over in this direction as well. I really need to see him take a 4th expansion. I don't know why he thinks he shouldn't right now. He's definitely in a position to be able to. I would say he can afford it. He is trying to basically dump all of his resources into mounting up as close to a supply-capped army as possible. Finally scouting this planetary over here. He's going to actually push up with some Blink Stalkers and try to snipe that down as quickly as possible, splitting up his forces to try to avoid as much of that splash damage from that planetary as he can. As that Expo gets targeted down, we are going to see Jinro push across the map. That will force SaSe back. Blink Stalkers moving down to rejoin the rest of the forces. One guy gets trapped. That is a sad, sad Stalker indeed. SaSe mounting up the bulk of his forces. Jinro pushing out across the map, but still SaSe is at supply cap. Jinro, well, he's not. He's at 118 army supply as opposed to 138. And here we go. That engagement about to happen. Guardian Shields going down. There's the Stim Pack pushing forward there with those Blink Stalkers. Charge Zealots moving in immediately after, just overwhelming that bio and pushing them all the way back. We've got those Archons pushing forward as well. That splash damage is unreal against this bio army, and even without shields, those Charge Zealots are just so strong, able to push back that bio. But look at that stimmed up bio. Some Zealot reinforcements though coming into the fray, and Jinro is being forced further and further back. And watch as the units lost, the resources lost, tips further and further in SaSe's favor as Jinro can just not handle against this type of an army. We are seeing SaSe pull back momentarily as he expects some reinforcements to join the rest of the army here. He wants to be able to warp in. We've got another Expo coming out as Jinro ended up losing that expansion, dropped the one at the high yield, that floating command center that he had. But again, we got some more forces here moving out for SaSe, and SaSe does manage to actually snipe down some of these mules here at the Expo. Some stimmed up Marauders pulling forward. We got a bunch more Archons coming out. Still, SaSe not planning at all to come out with a 4th expansion. He just doesn't really care. He's going to be remote mining, and he's just continued to pushing with what he has. Not planning. He doesn't want this game to go any longer than it already is. He's just going to keep up the aggression. He does realize that economically Jinro is starting to become more and more starved, and I think he just wants to take advantage of his unit composition over what Jinro could possibly have. The continued push here from those Charge Zealots. EMP landing on the bulk of the forces, but Jinro, realizing he's overwhelmed at this point, just calls the GG. Alright guys, that is going to be it for this series between Jinro and SaSe. SaSe winning 2-0. That first game was a clear victory. This game, SaSe just committed to those 3 bases, continuously pushing against Jinro after he managed to snipe out Jinro's 3rd. He felt like he was in a strong position, and he was in fact. So it was pretty smart of him to continue to do that, not bothering to push the game any further than he had to, just sticking with what he had and continue churning out units until he was eventually able to overwhelm the mineral blocked Jinro that we saw. He just did not have the income necessary to be able to consistently defend against the aggression of this very strong composition, plus the upgrades from SaSe. SaSe had some solid upgrades here as well. Alright guys, that was it. Game 2 again going to SaSe. That's a clear sweep there, 2-0 against Jinro. Hopefully you enjoyed this series. As always, if you like the content, please subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Keep watching and keep owning.